Hello and welcome to your reading for this time next year. Joining me again for this amazing topic is my good friend Chris Reck from Minnow Pond Tarot. Hey Chris, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good, and I'm excited because this is basically the 1 year anniversary of this topic for us on
It
this
is.
channel. And it was really fun to go back and watch the video from last year where you and I were talking about what will be going on right now. And I have to say, you were spot on with so many things there, and it was fun to watch the progression. So I just kind of wanted to hear from you, like, what are some of the big things that have stuck out to you between last year and this year, as far as what we were seeing with that big retrograde we started off the year with, some of these big planetary transits, and even some crazy things going on in the sky?
Yeah, I mean, some big things definitely felt slower this year. I actually just said this in a reading that I was like, last year, like I actually did make more progress maybe in on things that I was working on, getting better results, and this year has been like a back to the drawing board reading. Oh my god, year for me. And yeah, it's like I was looking at everything from last year and I was like, damn, it's already like the middle of October and I'm not even close to where I was like last year.
Yeah. And I mean, you called it. You said that you felt like, 2025 wouldn't really start to feel like it was moving forward till June. And you were right. Once we got out of that retrograde energy is when people started getting clarity, including myself in that. But a lot of people I talk to, my clients and other people that comment, and they're just like, yeah, I mean, it's a lot of the stuff that the goals you tried to set for yourself for 2025, it just didn't feel like you were getting any traction until around end of May, June of 2025. So it'll be interesting to see, since we will be starting out 2026 with a very, very different energy, right?
Yeah.
And not with the massive retrogrades we did. And then, we've had these big things where we have Pluto finally staying in Aquarius. We had kind of felt that a little bit the last time we talked about this in October 2024, but we hadn't had the really like settling in with it. And then of course we had that massive move of Neptune into Aries, Uranus into Gemini, and of course Saturn into Aries, which they're retrograding back for a little bit. But by the time we're here again, this time next year, they will be well into those signs. And I think it's going to be, a very different look to the way we go through our day-to-day lives. What do you think?
Yeah, and that's one thing I didn't even, that I guess I didn't even register like this year was Pluto retrograde, and like I literally just started thinking about this as it goes direct that, I'm like, I did do like a lot of picking apart, of things in my life since May, maybe. And, just like kind of like really diving deep, like I said, a lot of that back to the drawing board, but it's like, I started a lot of things that I restarted and then restarted again and restarted again this year. And like, did it like 10 times in a row. Like, and, which is weird for me. Like I like to do things like perfect, right? Which is my curse. And, but it wasn't from perfection, I would say, with the Pluto retrograde. It was more from like just exploring it, exploring the things on a deeper level. So yeah, I mean, I would say it's probably a good thing though. Hopefully we'll see.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I think another thing that was, because I experienced the same thing, what was contributing as well is Saturn, which in traditional astrology is known as the ruler of time, discipline. It moves into this sign of Aries, which is all about charge, go ahead, get it done. And Saturn's kind of sitting there going, well, actually, we're going to take our time this time. And you're going to notice where things could be done more easily or where you forgot to dot an I or cross a T, right? And it was kind of a favor Pluto was doing for us by retrograding, since it brings in powerful transformation. If we've got Saturn coming in here going, all right, hang on, I'm coming in here to tell you, you got to do this the right way this time, at least you didn't have Pluto pushing on the energy. Now, at the time we're making this recording in October 2025, yesterday, I think it was, Pluto went direct. Within hours of that, I was getting major information, transformational information. And so I do think that now it's like, get ready. We're going to finally see these changes we've been feeling coming. We're going to start to see a lot of the evidence of where that's taking us. So have you seen anything like that within the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, I would say like the last month, maybe. It's like everything has like I feel like I'm much clearer on what direction to go in, what to do, and still not perfect, but
Yeah.
getting there.
Yeah, and I feel like there's a real push for all of us to keep things simple, not to overstack, right? Yeah, so that there is still that time.
That was my main message for 2025 was simplification. So,
yes.
I think that continues through 2026. So
I completely agree. I think it really is about that, because then we can have more time for other areas of our life. Like we've talked about, we want to always be keeping balance between our work, our play, our time with our family, our health, all these things. And we've got some bumper rails there, making sure we do it.
Yeah, I think there's a lot going on. Like, even Neptune, sometimes I wonder if that Neptune in Pisces is trying to get people to do like more of what's actually important, less of the work, hard work, stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree too. And by this time next year, we will have, just to repeat it, Neptune in Aries, Saturn will still be in Aries, Pluto will be in Aquarius, and Uranus in Gemini. But then also Jupiter will have moved into Leo, which is also a fiery energy. Right now it's in Cancer at the time of this recording, but now you're going to have this trine between Jupiter, the planet of expansion, and Neptune and Saturn too. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be asking us to expand the way we work and expand the way we play and make sure we're keeping a balance there.
Yeah, and I think, especially in Leo, I mean, because it retrogrades pretty quickly, right, into Cancer. So,
yes.
When it enters in, retrogrades pretty fast. And, but, that Jupiter in Leo, I've been talking about attention and, people needing to get more attention, on what they do.
Yeah, and I think we're seeing people recognize where they want to be seen right now, but they haven't actually taken the steps to be seen. And I think hopefully we're, seeing more people being willing to come online with that because they're tired of the noise that's out there. Are you seeing that too? Because I feel like more and more, I just don't have the patience for things I'm seeing in the media on just the usual scrolling that I see. It's like, I don't even have the patience to I just don't even want to open my phone sometimes and look at it. Are you feeling any of that?
Yeah, I talk about this because my mom, she's a psychologist and she's retired now, but, and she, so, growing up with her and, it's like it reminds me of the whole cognitive behavioral therapy thing. It's like when you get blasted with something for too long, it's like we can only stay in that heightened state for so long. And I think we're finally getting into that coming back down part. And so it's like the same thing. It's like our anxiety has been too high and now we're kind of coming back down.
Yeah, and just not being willing to be triggered the way we have in the past, hopefully, is kind of the goal. And then, of course, the big news that's changed things since last year is we've been seeing all these things happening in the sky. We've got 3i Atlas up there, this third interstellar object that we've tracked so far. And then there's I think 6 or 7 comets, something like that have appeared recently. Have you been tracking any of those guys, Lemon and Swan?
No, I've only been tracking the 3i Atlas one. That's it.
Well, it's one of those things where it's come onto my radar now where I'm paying attention a little bit more to some of the things that are happening with the sun and things that I normally was kind of like, oh yeah, that's interesting. There was a big rise in this, coronal explosion, whatever. But now it's kind of like, wow. I mean, it's almost like this is definitely more interesting to be paying attention to what's going up in the sky because of the as above, so below type of phrasing there than what somebody else is trying to force feed you on a social media platform, right? But I know there's a lot going on, and you've talked about this for the last 2 or 3 years, that I've noticed about, things being revealed, possible disclosure, things like that. We're seeing more and more of that. So it will be fascinating this time next year to see what have we discovered about this interstellar object. However, I was getting all excited for the big conjunction with Mars that happened. I think it was on October 3rd, where we were supposed to get all these great photos. And then so far it's kind of been like this big nothing burger, like, surprise, surprise, a lot of the images haven't been released, or if there were even images taken. And so it was like we were all kind of, those of us following it, waiting on the edge of our seats, and then it was like not much. I don't know. Did you see anything else on that?
No.
Yeah.
I tried to find the photos. They say they have higher resolution that they're not showing us, of course. So,
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows? And it's just funny because I don't know why I was surprised by that. You know what I mean? We're like, here in the US, we have the big government shutdown at the same time that all these websites that are government oriented are the ones that would normally. So it's just funny because it's like, well, we'll just see what comes out down the road. Why were we waiting around? But some of the scientists have been talking about just the uniqueness of this and just the color of it. And that part, the scientist in me finds fascinating because it's not something we've ever explained. So hopefully by this time next year, we will know a little bit more about it. It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
And we have
my prediction.
Go ahead.
Everybody, all these teachers and stuff like that say 2027. But I think it's like much sooner. I mean, technically, if it is an alien ship, I wasn't wrong because my prediction like 2 years ago was 2025, the end of 2025 and into 2026. We're not even there yet. There's still time.
Yes.
I think it's going to be like sooner than 2027.
Yeah, it feels sooner to me too. But I also feel like it's sooner for those who are open to it is what it feels like to me.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of people sticking their fingers in the ears and going, la, 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 I don't want to hear about it, or just, that's just a rock. Stop wasting your time looking at it. But I think those of you who are open to it, those of us who are open to it, we might get that information a little sooner than others.
Yeah, and it's I think of Uranus and Gemini too. It's like, to me it would be so Uranus and Gemini for the like aliens to finally be real.
Right.
And but I also think Uranus and Gemini is like, it's not going to be like the government's not going to tell us. I think like it's something else. Like it'll be it'll be revealed in some random way. So I don't even think that's how it's going to happen.
That makes so much sense to me too. And I also feel like there's not probably going to be anybody out there who's been 100% spot on what it's going to look and feel and be, right? It's just kind of like we're all kind of grabbing and pulling things together from the ether. And so it'll just be interesting to go into this together and maybe hopefully like a unifying thing too, because that's the big message I've been getting is about unification. So I don't know if you've been getting that message, but I think that that's ultimately our goal here as a collective.
Yeah, I think so. During Pluto and Aquarius collective. Yeah. So absolutely.
Yeah. So keep an eye on the sky, everybody. We did a little poll last week. What do you think this is? Or last month when you were on my channel last month.
Oh, right.
And it was fun. It was fun to see everybody's comments. As always, we love seeing where you're tuning in from. We get people from all over the world. We love talking about any topics. But I definitely invite you to, take a look back at the one we did last year in October for this time next year. Lots of things that I saw with the signs, lots of things we talked about. We're about to go into all 12 signs here. And of course, we'll do your bonus reading at the end. But I was listening to them on my walk again this morning, just as a refresher, Chris. And it was really amazing to watch the energy track with each of the individual signs. And I have seen those changes for each of them. Also, though, we all have all 12 signs in our chart. So in many ways, we were affected by all of them. So that keep that in mind too. Definitely write down anything that resonates with you. And before we jump into all 12 signs, I just want to remind you to definitely check out, of course, Menopon Tarot, Chris Reck's YouTube channel, but also he has his other YouTube channel, Chris Reck. You can go to chrisreck.com and get all the information that he shares about creating your own YouTube channel or getting started with any kind of creative project. I'm a dent maker. I'm in his amazing dent maker program. And Chris, thank you. You have taught me so much. You've inspired me to try new things. You always inspire me to experiment, to not be afraid of embarrassing myself, getting out there in a bigger way. And I was talking with Chris before we hit record today. Last year I was having trouble getting him on camera. We were live, and then I had myself up in the little box in the screen at one point. And watching that back, I was laughing really hard. At the time, I was not laughing, but it's one of those moments where you're like, wow, that just seems so second nature to me now, but a year ago was different. So I encourage you to get started with anything you've been thinking about, because Chris, I've seen you help people getting started writing books, podcasts, creative projects at home. So if you're saying, hey, I don't want a YouTube channel, there's still tons of exercises and methods that in his community who supports you with your projects. So thank you for providing that, Chris. It's really amazing.
Yeah, of course.
All the links are down below. All right, I'm excited to hear.
Yes.
What do we have for each of the 12 signs? And of course, our bonus messages at the end for this time next year. Getting started right away, we have the Aries. What are you getting for the Aries for this time next year?
Aries, this looks amazing. I'm not surprised. You have the Sun, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Ace of Wands. So definitely like a new beginning. A lot of good energy for you, Aries. The Saturn and Neptune in your sign. I think that working on something new is probably a good idea with the Ace of Wands. I also think Jupiter in their fourth house, right? Mm-hmm. Jupiter in your fourth, it could be moving, but I think it can be making moves in life as well. So I would be making big moves. One thing I didn't say about that Jupiter and Leo as well that popped into my head when you said that was, sometimes I think of Leo as like the actor or needing to learn how to become an actor. Mm-hmm. And it's not like in a fake way, right? But it's about just learning how to present yourself to the world. And, I think that's what the Ace of Wands, the Sun is kind of getting at for Aries, is to like learn how to, present something. You could be presenting a skill, your business, whatever. I think that's what will change your fortunes with the Wheel of Fortune. But Aries, that looks like a good year to me right there.
Yeah, that does look really good. Another thing I've been getting for the Aries is the Three of Fire here. And this is actually something that's been coming up a lot for Aries all of 2025. So it's continuing for you guys through next year as well. It's just this card of this idea of collaboration. I know Aries, you tend to want to just get started, get going, not have to wait on the people who haven't made up their mind yet, which is understandable. But it looks like you're going to be really rewarded for those you've been willing to slow down for and collaborate with and have conversations with. And I'm also getting this Queen of Earth card here too, which is showing me that it's really going to bring some stability for you. And you're going to see where maybe in the past you've had some missed opportunities to increase either your material wealth or the time you have for yourself around things. But now you're going to really kind of see, oh, wow, I've been like willing to delegate. I've been willing to be a team player. And now I'm in this place where I can actually feel in control of my resources. And then finally, I did get this card here, the Page of Swords, which also, you were talking about learning something new or bringing in a new education. That was kind of coming in for me. Or maybe even somebody new on your team is getting you to look at something differently. You've always done something the same way, but now that you're collaborating, this new fresh energy that's coming in is getting you to see, oh, I was kind of doing it the hard way there. So is anything else coming up for you with the Aries energy with those cards?
Pluto's in their 11th, right? Is my math correct on that? So, it's like that's where you're going to get your power is like, is groups of people even, or, kind of like shining, right? Being a leader, but getting a following. I always warn people with Neptune and Aries, like of just blindly trusting any person. Like I think during Neptune and Aries, people are going to it's going to make people look for like a savior, someone who has all the answers. But Aries, maybe you have the answers and you need to be the person that people follow, right? So, I think that would be good.
Would you say, just for clarification on the Page of Swords, would you say that could be like also just a little bit of a heads up just to, not believe everything you hear right away or what everyone's saying to you right away too, right?
I mean, for the past, I don't know, since 2018, I haven't believed a damn thing. So I think that people should already be questioning everything right now. But definitely during Neptune and Aries, I think that, I say it's like trust but verify. I think what people need to be careful of, too, is, someone can say something that is wrong, but that doesn't mean they're all wrong. It's like maybe just that one bit of advice. Like I see this a lot where people will completely write someone off. Like even I use the example of books. I see books all the time on Amazon where people are like, oh, they said this on page 13. That means the whole entire book is garbage. But like I've read some of those books and they've like changed my life. So it's like you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater, so to speak.
Yes.
But also you have to trust but verify, right? You have to try the things that you're thinking.
Yeah. That makes so much sense. And I my dad used to say, sometimes you can be right, mean, and stupid all at the same time. And you have to kind of like think about that from your communication side, but also when people are telling you things, it's like you might not like what they have to say, but they also there might be some truth to it.
Might be truth.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't like it, but I have to kind of pay attention to this now. So yeah, really good. And I completely agree. Really good motto for all of us with Neptune in Aries for sure.
Yeah.
All right. That's great for the Aries. Let's move on to the Tauruses. What are you getting for this time next year for the Tauruses, Chris?
Taurus, you have the devil. It actually came up in reverse. I don't read reversals, but I don't have reversals, so I don't even know how that's possible. And the star card and the Queen of Pentacles here. So definitely could be letting go of like toxic things with the devil, or working on that. This has come up a lot in October. So sometimes when this happens in readings, I'm like, oh, is this October influencing the reading right now? That people need to watch out for toxic stuff. Queen of Pentacles, I still feel like Taurus is maybe are playing it a little bit too safe. Like the example I give to Taurus sometimes, and that I always think about for Taurus is that it's like if you grew up wanting to be on the radio, it's like maybe you should, instead of like trying to be on the radio right now, you should start a podcast, right? It's like I think Taurus needs to make that leap to 2026. Right. And get with the times, basically, because this is your dream, your big dream, Taurus, the star card. And it's like, you could totally have that dream. It just might look different. And, that's okay. Part of me thinks that Uranus and Taurus for so long has been trying to get you to see that, it's like trying to get you to create that level of freedom. And yeah, that's what I would do with these cards. You have the skills. Queen of Pentacles, she has the resources.
Yeah, I've been seeing that for a lot of Tauruses too, building up through this. That's kind of what Uranus was doing for sure. I have the Two of Fire here, the Nine of Cups, and the Five of Fire here. So again, a lot of fiery energy, a lot of needing to get started, a lot of really finally moving forward with what Uranus and Taurus taught you. There was a lot of things I feel like were disrupted and brought to the surface for you. So especially with this Two of Fire card, it may have been a lot of acknowledgement around relationships. This could actually be like new people coming into your life, maybe possibly passionate romantic ones that were disruptive, but also revealing things about yourselves and kind of using that opportunity to learn things about your relationship patterns. It's what's coming through. It's not necessarily that I'm saying this is a love reading for Tauruses as much as it's been an opportunity to learn about yourself and who you are in a relationship, and possibly even where you didn't allow yourself to really be seen. Because especially with this Five of Fire card here too, I feel like it's kind of needing to look at the conflicts you've had with those around you and see like, where was I ignoring a part of myself that in order to get along with people or in order to just push a project further down the road. And that ultimately was just causing more conflict and competition than necessary. And of course, this Nine of Cups card here, I feel like is kind of what you're searching for. You're searching for this opportunity to sit back and relax and feel the luxury of the moment next year. But first, it's going to take addressing where you've had these. That's what's coming up for me so much. And maybe it's because, like you said, with October, it's Libra energy, relationships. Plus, we're going to go into Scorpio, which is your opposite sign, Taurus. But it does feel like if you can start right now addressing how you approach all relationships, not just romantic ones, things with your boss, parents, children, friends, this is going to finally bring you this peace that I'm seeing for a lot of you guys a year from now, where things are just finally feeling like they're in a flow. Does anything else come up for you with that for the Tauruses?
Big time. You started talking and I was like, oh, I know what this is. And I think that what it is for Taurus is that like, what I heard was that you've received the apology, and I'm wondering, like, sometimes I think we wait for an apology to like set ourselves free or to feel free from something from the past. And, that's really what I'm getting on the star card is like, you have received the apology, you've received the thing that, it's like some people say like in love, they want to wait for closure, which I don't think we should do that anyway. But that's what I'm getting for Taurus.
Yeah, I am too. It's like a self-reflection now that leads to a lot more peace a year from now. So love that for the Tauruses. All right. Let's move on to the Geminis with Uranus in your sign. What do you get for the Geminis?
Gemini, this is all you, Gemini. I think that same thing with ideas. I'd say Uranus and Gemini will give Gemini those electric third place ideas. And, I think that this is about, trusting your ideas. Maybe for a long time you haven't been able, or maybe you almost feel like you've been punished for trying your ideas or putting them out into the world. But Empress, Judgment, Five of Cups. Five of Cups sometimes I feel is like more fearing the regret. Like if I invest in this thing, I'm going to regret it in the future. But this is like, no, this is your purpose, whatever your ideas are. And, the Empress wants us to really nurture something into existence. And, I've been getting this nurturing energy a lot towards the end of this year. And so I do think Geminis have to like nurture an idea, even if it doesn't seem like or even if you're worried about regrets in the future.
Yeah, that makes so much sense with what I'm getting. I've got the Sun card, I've got Queen of Swords, and I've got education details. So I'm 100% getting like the spotlight's going to be on you, Geminis. There really is going to be a lot of attention for you for the focus to be on you, but it's going to be about you bringing those ideas out into the spotlight. And also what I was hearing, the same thing with the Eight of Swords here. Eight of Earth, just needing to invest that time in advancing your skills and really showing how hard you've been working over these past 5-6 years to hone those skills. Because with this Queen of Swords, wow, I just feel like people are really going to see you as the charismatic, communicative, intelligent being you are with this thing that you love so much. Because it feels like you've kind of been trying for so long to get people to listen, and they've been distracted, or like maybe the way you're conveying it, they don't know how, they're not receiving it. And now, because of all this work you've been doing, and I really feel like you've been doing this work and you're doing it now through next year, finally, you're going to get that recognition you deserve. Maybe some of you have been writing books or creating courses, or finally your YouTube channel, your podcast is getting some traction. There's something around that. And I do think even with those close to you is what I'm seeing, family members, colleagues, the people you work with on a day-to-day basis are kind of going, wow, Gemini's been trying to get our attention on this for a while now, and now we kind of get it. Like, it does seem almost like you've been like this quiet whisper in the background, even no matter how loud you've tried to be, people are like, yeah. It's just been like buzzing in their ear. And now finally you're seeing, okay, here's how I get through to people. Here's how I master my communication. Is anything else coming up for you with that?
Yeah, the Empress has to do with chaos as well. She has this like waterfall here, and it's the water comes from the Emperor, but the waterfall itself is like the tower. And she understands chaotic force, and so she understands that there will always be reasons, not to do something. There will always be something going on around her. And I think Uranus loves Gemini, obviously, but also I think Uranus and Gemini is a little bit chaotic, and there could be a million reasons why you shouldn't do something, but if there's like one good reason you should, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that's what she's basically saying.
Yeah, and especially just this idea with the Eight of Earth here that, you've already put so much effort into this.
Yeah.
So this is not the time to give up. This is the time to just keep going for that spotlight there. Yeah.
Yeah, Eight of Pentacles says you are like this close. He only has that one more pentacle to complete, and then he's done.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see this for you next year, Geminis. Awesome. All right. Cancers, what are you getting for this time next year for Cancers?
Cancer, you have the Two of Cups, Strength, and the Ace of Swords. Definitely could be love. Jupiter in your sign, even though, Jupiter will leave it to move into Leo right here. So maybe around that time, you will, could be meeting a person or communicating with a person. I think, my thing, I'm going to talk about something other than love, but, in love, I think Cancers need to make it more 3D. It's like, I don't know, Neptune and Pisces, it's just too much fantasy sometimes. I think people get... they kind of, the fantasy is much more attractive than the reality. And so, the universe is like, okay, now is like a time where you could create something that is real here on Earth, but like you have to take the risk to do that, right? You can't hide behind just texting a person, for example, never actually, making it something real or whatever. So, for those of you that want love, I would do that. I also think you could be like communicating a lot with your higher self. Two of Cups is your higher self. And the Strength card, I think I'm pretty sure I've been saying this all year to Cancer or something similar about like it's time to act for Cancer. It's time, like the victory is here. And she's, she is taming her inner voice with this Leo card, the Strength card. And, she has, everything that she needs. There's nothing more that she has to do except for like do it with the Ace of Swords. So time to act here, Cancer.
Yeah, well, and speaking of the Empress card that we have for Geminis, we have it for Cancers here, and I didn't know that interpretation about the chaos. That's really interesting to me, and it makes sense because Uranus is in your 12th house, Cancer. So it could be that you are getting stuck in these illusions and things that are not real, and so it really resonates with me what Chris was saying about bringing things into the 3D, whether it's romantic or just any other kind of thing that you need to get started with, because you have this Page of Wands card here, and you have this Knight of Water card here. And I know that a lot of times in the past, we've seen Cancers, they have a tendency to get swept off their feet by something that they're very passionate about, especially with this Page of Wands energy. But then also this Knight of Water energy can kind of give that same feeling of, okay, I want to go for the passion. I want to go for the emotion. I want to go for the big, big, big. But like you said, Chris, it's almost like you haven't been bringing that into this reality. It's just been in your dream time or in your journal or in your story writing. And it's like time to actually bring it into this physical reality. In fact, I know we've talked about this on past lives, but when you have Jupiter in your sign, a lot of times you feel like you don't feel it till after it leaves the sign, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, Jupiter will have gone out of your sign, Cancer, by this time next year. You might finally be seeing the ways that you can bring these ideas, this relationship, this project into a bigger physical thing, you know what I mean? And even if it's just an idea, it's just putting it into action, like you said, Chris. I do feel like right now is a time to get started with it, so that by this time next year, you're really reaping the rewards here, especially this Empress energy of just giving birth to that thing into physical reality. Anything else coming up to you for that?
Yeah, I think this is like the what ifs too. Always thinking about like, what if this happens? What if that happens? Ace of Swords is like laser like focus on exactly what you want, and needing to cut something out cuts both ways.
Right.
And so it's like if you're always worrying about just what could happen, then nothing is ever going to happen. That's the fantasy part of all of that. So I think you need to cut out the what ifs. Right.
Yeah, I love that. That's a good message for all of us.
Yeah.
All right, so for Leos, what are you getting for Leos this time next year?
Leo, I actually like this. I think you have the Four of Wands, the Knight of Swords, and the King of Pentacles, which is, really good commitment energy. Not just love either. Four Wands can be marriage, but Four of Wands is commitment to freedom. You setting yourself free. And, I think this is true for all fixed signs with Uranus and Taurus again. I think anything that makes fixed signs feel like trapped or stuck, you just probably won't even tolerate it in the first place. But there are some things that you probably do want to be stuck to, like good things, like, making money or a good relationship, right? Or something like that. So I see this as like Leo's having something to commit to, and, something that's like more like feeling more supported. I always say to Leo that I think even if Leo is like at retirement age, for example, I see a lot of Leos not retiring, but not that that's a bad thing. It's not like you're going to be like suffering until you're 90 or something. Maybe you'll be committing to like a side project or something, even if you think you're going to retire, that supports you like well, until you die, Leo, right? How great is that? So I think a lot of Leos are kind of like, creating new support in their life.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I got the King of Earth as well, right? The King of Pentacles. So we're doubling down on that energy there. I also got the Four of Cups as well. And I've got this Ace of Earth card too. So just very much the similar energy there. And I do think that I can definitely see a lot of Leos, and I've actually seen a lot of Leos where they are retiring from one thing, but they're not totally retired. It's like somehow they have their finger in it or their toe in it, or they're just monitoring it, or maybe they're acting as a mentor to those because they like that giving back. And my grandma always used to say it's harder to hit a moving target. So it's a good thing for all of us to keep in mind as we retire, to just keep moving, keep doing something fun. And I definitely see that with you. I think you're starting something right now, or have started actually within the last few months, something right now that by the time you get to this time next year, you're going to be feeling in this King of Earth energy, or you're going to at least be on that path. You're going to be able to see the path. Whereas I think in the past, maybe you haven't. And this Four of Cups card for me, and I definitely want to hear what you're getting off of it. I was feeling a little boredom with this card. Like it's like you're still trying to really get clear on the things that are not fulfilling. and focus on the things that are being offered to you. There are opportunities here, but maybe you're not looking hard enough, or you're not seeing it for what they are as an opportunity. So did anything else come up for you with those three for Leo?
My dad's a Leo, and he always says to me, it's harder to hit a moving target, by the way, just so you know. So
That's hilarious.
because I move a lot, obviously I travel a lot, and he always says that to me. So that's really funny. But for the boredom thing, Leo, I think it could be like your skills with the King of Pentacles, and he has these grapes, and so he has a skill. If you're born with a skill, it reminds me of people who have like a lot of trines in their chart. If you read any old astrology books, they say like people who have a lot of trines are lazy, but they're not really lazy. They just have if you're born with something, you don't think you're good at it because it just comes naturally. And so I think that's where like Leo should be using their skills, the things that you are born with. You might have to like have someone tell you what that is too. So maybe you don't even know, and you have to like maybe you have to ask your family or friends, like, what am I good at? Because maybe you don't know, right?
Yeah. I love that. That's such a great reminder. It's just because it comes easy to you doesn't mean that it's not meant to be something other people would really benefit from or admire or to be used. Because you're right. That is a good reminder for everybody that we don't always remember. We don't even realize sometimes the things that other people can't do that come easy to us. So I love that. I love that reminder there. Thanks. Okay.
Yeah. What's that?
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, I was a copywriter for years, and I always like thought I was bad at copywriting or just writing in general. I don't consider myself a writer, but the reason I did it for years is because I wrote a piece for a client once, and he was like, "This is the best thing I've ever read." And I thought I sucked at writing, right? So, and I do suck at writing, but the beautiful thing is with copywriting, you don't have to be good at it.
Yeah, you mastered brevity is the source of wit.
Exactly.
You got it down to the right thing to get attention. I love it. It's a great story. Virgos, what are we getting for this time next year for Virgos?
Virgos, you have the Ace of Cups, the Two of Wands, and the Seven of Cups. I think Ace of Cups could be love, but I think Virgos are learning to love themselves more at this time. I think it like really wouldn't surprise me if every Virgo had a story over the past few years of like someone who like called them out publicly or something like that hurt your ego in some way. And then, but maybe it seemed bad in the moment, but I think it taught Virgos to love themselves moving forward. And same thing kind of with Leo. I don't see this year. I'm cheating a little bit just because I know what's coming up for Virgo. But I would say that, same thing with the skills. It's like Virgos, I think, have a skill. The difference for Virgo is I think this is a skill that you had developed over the years. Maybe you left it for a period of time and now you're coming back to it. I really see this, I'm not going to cover every card here. I think it's like one simple message, which is integration for Virgo. They have, they are, connecting all those dots, coming into their center, whatever you want to call it. And, they're using everything they've learned in life and probably on something new with the Two of Wands. Although, the other thing I would say to Virgo is it's like about speaking up. I think if let's say you have a following, Virgo, or, you've built up a certain personality in your career, you could be doing some things, I think, that might make people be like, oh, this is a new Virgo or a different Virgo in some way. But no, probably not. It's probably like what you've been hermiting your entire life. Basically, you're just like letting yourself out, right?
Yes. That makes so much sense with what I was getting. I have the Tower card here. I have the Renewal card to back that up, and the Four of Fire. And I was that was resonating with everything I was getting. I feel like a lot of Virgos have already gone through this Tower moment. I agree with you. Tower is not a bad card. It's change that's happening for you. And especially when you have it here with this Renewal card, which talks about reflection, self-evaluation, and rebirth. It's like you said, it's rebirth of your persona and how you appear to others. I don't think that it's anything that it's something you've always had within you to do. I completely agree with that. And now finally other people are seeing it because you've gone through this Tower moment, and it feels as though you're like, enough is enough. I'm just going to put myself out there in a bigger way, or do this in a way that really feels in a flow for you, versus doing it where you're doing it according to the to-do list, if that makes sense. It's almost like you're having to adjust the way you do it so that it's not so regimented, because you really just need to get the information out there, get that side of yourself out there. With this Four of Fire card though too, I am also seeing this sort of celebration over the spiritual transformation you've gone through. I feel like for a lot of us, this, for a lot of the Virgos, this Tower card has brought on a new sense of commitment, maybe to their spiritual path, maybe to how they approach it or how they share about it. And also maybe a little bit more of a shielding around how much they let in and let others influence them. It's like, you know what your spiritual mission is. You know what's best for you when it comes to connecting. And so you're just really taking the reins by the hand and saying, I'm going to go do this my way. And it definitely feels like you're kind of surprising people around you with this approach. So did anything else come up for you with those cards?
Yeah, that would be like the Two of Wands. I mean, I say this to Virgo a lot lately as well, that you're not like starting over. Two of Wands can feel scary because we could be leaving something, but the Two of Wands, this thing behind him stands on its own. And so he's not really starting over. He's, this still exists, you know? So a lot of you might think that you're leaving parts of yourself behind or your life behind, but really you're not. It's still there. You're just kind of leveling up, really.
Yes, exactly. Leveling up. That's perfect for that. Okay, Libras. What do we have for this time next year for Libras?
Libra has the Tower. Libra, you have the Queen of Cups, the Fool, and the Tower. Libra, I think that you could. I think Libras are sensitive to like the world, sometimes, and what's going on in the world, and that could be the Tower. I don't say this to scare anyone, but I mean, we're as far as I'm concerned, we're in a time of chaos till 2033. It kind of peaks in like 2028, somewhere around there, and so yeah, we're gonna see crazy stuff going down in the world, obviously, but I think that maintaining your peace with the Queen of Cups is important for Libra. Harmony, your middle name is Harmony, Libra Harmony, whatever your last name is. And, so I think you're going to maintain that. But, this could be about like having a space. It's like in the crazy ass world that we live in, can you create a space so that you can be effective and get things done? I think this year as well with the Fool, I would take advantage of that Fool energy. Saturn, in your opposite sign, Aries, I would be like building something long-term or, kind of like cementing some sort of routine into your life that you stick to with the Fool card. And that's what I feel like this is talking about.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense with what I'm getting. I have the Two of Air card here. I have the Knight of Swords, and I have the Seven of Fire. And I'm getting with the Two of Air, this is actually really more current energy at the time you're hearing this message. It's something you're on the fence about, something you're you kind of know it's an annoyance or it's something that has to be dealt with. I mean, this card says pretending there's no problem, but I don't think you're pretending. I mean, you're able to see this is something that's got to be dealt with, but you've kind of been putting it off. And so I feel like a lot of the messages coming through here is that, what is that for you, Libra? What's the first thing that comes to mind where you're pretending there isn't an issue? Because we also have this Knight of Swords card here. So it makes me feel like there might be just like you said, we're in a time of chaos. Like, I completely agree with that. You're going to see this a lot in communication. And it's almost like you mentioned, give yourself space. It's like you need to walk away from something that's a conflict. Because even in this Seven of Fire card, if I hold it up close to the camera, you can see there's all this space behind this person. Like this, like all this, it feels like this is what's the conflict down here. And you're like, I have to deal with this. Or what if you don't? Like, what if you walk away and you give yourself that space? It may actually be that you find the solution you need from taking that break, from walking away, taking a hiatus or a little vacation, a solo vacation maybe. If you haven't tried that yet, Libras, I highly recommend it. Something around walking away from a situation is going to give you clarity. Even though you're usually able to see both sides, it feels like you're just not wanting to see it or something. And if it's painful to face, what if you gave yourself, a break? What if you gave yourself a little compassion and said, I guess I don't have to decide right now. I'm just going to go take some me time away from it. So what else is coming up for you in that? Because I feel like that was kind of broad, but at the same time, very specific.
Yeah, I think, and Libra, how crazy is it? I literally said in Libra's last reading that they always blow leaves during Libra's reading. And I don't know if you heard that.
I heard it, yeah.
And what's even crazier is they normally don't come till Thursday, and it's Wednesday when we're recording this, which is super weird, Libra. But if you hear any weird noises, they're leaf blowing out here, yeah. Which is totally you. But you said something on the Two of Wands that I'm not remembering now. But you said I don't remember what you said about.
Pretending there's not a problem maybe, or like knowing what the problem is, but
Yeah, I think that, and also like the fool, he has to take the risk of looking like a fool, and
Oh.
I feel that that is what Libra maybe has to do right now is like
Mm.
put themselves out there, or tower could be you creating a tower moment. I always say the tower isn't
Hmm.
bad, also because you can be the one that causes a tower moment, for people in your life, or I think I did your reading this morning, and I think I said to you, I don't remember if it was you, I'm pretty sure it was you, and I was saying it's like, imagine your parents paid for college and you don't want to do whatever you went for to college for. I think that's what Libra is dealing with. Like, I'm not saying it's
Oh, yeah.
exactly that, but
Hmm.
I think it's something like that, where it's like maybe people have an idea of you, or did something for you that you don't want to do, and it's like having to go against the grain in that way. And that's what I feel for Libra.
Yeah, I think that it helps bring a little clarity to what I was getting with the two of air in this card,
Mm,
because it's like I said, you're creating the tower moment by choosing not to engage in this. You're like,
yeah.
I'm walking
Hmm.
away from this degree, from this idea you had for me, from this conflict that we keep getting in over and over again. And that's the tower moment. It's like, what? I can't believe Libra walked away. So
Hmm.
I would definitely think like whatever first came to mind for you, Libras, that you kind of know is an issue, but you haven't really been addressing it. Probably by this time next year, you'll have some clarity, or you will have already walked away, it feels like. Yeah.
Hmm.
All right. Scorpios, what's going on for this time next year for Scorpios?
Scorpio looks like an adventure. You have the Page of Wands, Eight of Wands, Three of Wands. Very adventurous, expansive type energy for you, Scorpio. I would be, following your optimism for sure. I think that Scorpios have, like over the past couple of years, have had to develop optimism, or
Mm,
try to figure what even that means, like what makes you happy, right? And
yeah,
trying to find it. And I think the secret sauce for Eight of Wands always is not pulling in two directions. You can only point in one direction in your life. If we try to, if we're like positive and negative, we're just going to be tug of war, right? So,
right.
and that's kind of popping into my head for Scorpio, that they're ending some sort of tug of war in their life. Maybe it's something you've been thinking about for a long time. Three of Wands says, "What are you waiting for?"
Yeah.
Three of Wands is like, "Why? Just get on these boats, go on the adventure." And I think that's what Scorpio needs to do. Pretty simple.
I got a lot of wands energy too. I got the nine of fire for the Scorpios, and I got the seven of wands. And then, of course, this queen of water, right? Water energy
Mm-hmm.
for the Scorpios. So, yeah, I mean, and that's the thing that I've told you, Chris, all year long, the Scorpios get different readings
Yeah.
than the other 11 signs. Have you seen that too?
Yeah.
it's
Yes.
it's like it's so funny because it's like here we go again with a totally different reading for the Scorpios. But
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are the ones that are able to pinpoint an issue, or to Libras are like seen as, okay, they can see both sides, they're fair and balanced, but Scorpios are like, I see both sides and I know which side is correct. You know what I mean? Like, it's like
Yeah.
you're not necessarily trying to play the favorite by being on everybody's sides. You're saying, no, this is the right way to do it. And with this nine of fire card here, I am getting, it's really about protecting that energy that you've been working on all year long, and keep going with that all year, where you're saying, you know what, I know this is right for me. I know this is the right path. This is what my heart wants, this thing I'm creating. So I'm going to keep going. I'm not going to listen to what anybody else has to say about what's happening in the economy, or what's happening, with this particular group. And then also with the seven of wands card here, the same kind of idea as we had with the Libra card, right? Who had the seven of wands too, where it's kind of like, choosing your battles carefully. Maybe you don't need to engage. Maybe you just need to go off and do your own thing. Because finally, with this queen of water card here, I think that, a lot of the things that I see happen with Scorpios, because I've got a lot of Scorpio energy, family, friends in my life, and they're so devoted, they're so loving. It's like the Cancers and the Pisces tend to be the ones who get the credit for that. But I think it's just because Scorpios are so committed, they get so passionate about the things and the people they love, that they don't really get the recognition for how powerful they are when they're coming from that place of love. So, Scorpios, it's like, you might have to be, and I've said this a lot to you guys, you might have to be a little more patient than you want to be with those around you to get on board with this direction you're going. But if you really step into this queen of water energy, it's going to be a lot easier to get people to follow you. So did anything else come up for you with that?
Yeah, I think that's a big thing for Scorpio, about like, focusing on the economy, things like that. I think, really, I think it's a collective thing that, people say like, oh, is there going to be a economic collapse and all this other stuff? I'm like, yeah, well, maybe. But the real thing is that, well, I don't think, things aren't going to happen. I don't even know. I don't even try to predict it. But, what I would say is I think that people are just going to start choosing alternatives. And, it's like, we do have access to alternatives. And I'm not suggesting people invest in cryptocurrency, for example, but it is an alternative that does exist to the current system. And, I think that maybe Scorpio is going to be one of the leaders of, choosing alternatives. And, again, I think during this time of chaos, that's basically what we're going to see. People are just going to be like, no, we don't use your system anymore. You can do whatever you want, but we're going to do something else. And,
yes,
Scorpio could be doing that in their life.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I think that kind of aligns with the nurturing energy of the Queen of Water. It's like, if you really want your family loved ones to come along with you, you may have to hold their hand through it. Yeah. Because you're seeing it. You're like, I see this alternative. And they're like, I don't know. I'm not so sure. So definitely stepping up and being the leader there, Scorpios. I love that. And thank you for showing us the alternatives. All right, Sagittarius. What do you get for this time next year for Sagittarius?
Sag, new deck. I have to do a new deck on Sagittarius always. Sag, you have the World, the Eight of Wands, and the Hangman. So yeah, pretty good. Definitely could be an accomplishment. It could be a quick conclusion as well with the Eight of Wands. So you could be wrapping things up, projects, ideas. I think Sagittarius is getting more serious. Like Hangman is enlightenment. I think also with Uranus and Gemini, you're probably going to have lots of little like enlightening moments going through your head over the next many years. So I would be any of those enlightening moments, I would be bringing those things down to earth. They could be ideas. I think mostly for career for Sag. Sag has been, at least in my readings, focused on career or making a career change. And I think also whatever your career story is, I think is pushing Sagittarius to do something different. It's crazy. I have a bunch of Sag friends and they all have a side hustle. And it's like, I can see how every single one of them probably could make the side hustle something that is their main focus, but they also all have like 10 jobs. So, I don't know what it is about Sagittarius, but I think this is about, making like one thing your focus that is truly successful.
Yeah, that totally adds up with the energy I'm getting with this Knight of Fire card here. The Fool card, you were talking about starting something new. And then the Ace of Earth card. I am getting that actually a lot of Sagittarius, like you said, a lot of the ones I know as well, busy. Even if it's not like an actual job they're getting paid for, it's like all these commitments they have and that they be everywhere at one time. And I feel like maybe one of the new things that they're going to do is they're going to be teaching others. Like I know Ace of Earth is not necessarily a card of teaching. Maybe you have a different view on it, but that's what I was feeling with this, like this opportunity to use your resources differently or to show others how to do things so that you have less on your plate. So maybe you're starting to delegate, maybe you're starting to move away from a lot of these busy things, like the things that just keep you busy but don't really move you forward. And then the thing that you're actually focusing on are the things that can actually give you those bigger jumps forward, not just getting things done for the sake of getting things done. And especially with this Knight of Fire card, and all the energy that you bring to the room, Sag, is like, you have an opportunity here to get people to follow you is what I'm really feeling too. So there's probably some new thing that either you've already been working on, but you haven't had the confidence yet to really put it out there as big of a way you can, or you're finally realizing like, why have I been sitting on the fence? Why am I not just letting go of these other things that are wasting my time and focusing on that? Because I think by this time next year, you're going to see a lot of movement with the things you want to do if you go ahead and take that action now. This feels like a now card, not a this time next year card, this Fool. So does that resonate with what you were getting, or anything else come up with you with that?
Yeah, the Ace of Pentacles is like nurturing something into existence. And I think that, you have to look at it like a garden. You're not doing... there are ways to automate a garden. You can put up sprinklers. You can, you can use machines to do stuff. I don't know. I'm at a loss here, but there are ways you can automate it. And so, I definitely think having a system, coming up with systems will make things a lot easier for you. And by the way, next year's a 1 year, right? So, starting something new, I think a lot of people will be doing that. But I think this is like turning over a new leaf for Sag.
Yeah, exactly. And that really resonates with the automating the things that somebody else could do for you, or you could, somehow outsource. do those things so that you're
Yeah.
really focused on the thing that you want to do, because then you'll see the big changes. So yeah, I really like that for the Sages. All right, moving on to the Capricorns. What are you getting for Capricorns this time next year?
I think Capricorn, you have the King of Pentacles, Emperor, and the Knight of Swords. I feel that it's like you have the opportunity for excitement. I don't know why that's popping into my head, but it just feels like, I don't know, the Knight of Swords. I feel like he's very excited about something, but I feel like you have to grab onto it here, Capricorn. And it's kind of weird because I feel like this is something I would say to Virgo, but it's like giving me the feelings of something being messy. You know, where, and I'm speaking very generally here because I think this could be anything for you, Capricorn, but it's like, imagine, you get into like a relationship where you would have to like, move to be with a person or something. It's like, it just has that messiness to me where it's like not bad, but there are things to overcome. Same thing in business or work or anything else you're doing. It's like, yeah, you have the skills, King of Pentacles. We talked about this with Leo. You have all the skills, but you just need to embrace that messy part of it. The Emperor, he's like waiting for an opportunity, but it's weird. The Knight of Swords is like running into him, and it's almost saying like you have the opportunity right in front of you. So, right now, Capricorn, not even next year.
Yeah, I definitely feel that, and like embracing the messiness, because like I have this moon card here. And, a lot of times there's just things going on behind the scenes, things you can't see. And, it's tough sometimes for Capricorns to embrace the messiness. It's easier to embrace the Emperor energy and be structured and disciplined and organized. But you might have to just start relying on this intuition to get you where you're going. And that's actually a message we've been getting from the moment Pluto left your sign, Capricorns, is the new way of doing things is to rely on your intuition first. You can always apply the structure and discipline later because you know how to do that. So I think that is such a key thing you said, Chris, about embracing the messiness. It's not that it has to be messy the whole time. It's that you might have to allow the messiness in order to get to the next stage. And, I'm being reminded of the whole like chrysalis example with a butterfly. Like when the caterpillar goes into the am I saying that right? Chrysalis? I think.
Yeah, chrysalis.
Chrysalis. Yeah, that they're like a goo in there. Like it's messy, right? But like it eventually transforms into something with structure. And that would make sense too with this Page of Water and this Six of Cups that I have for you, because you were talking about this opportunity right now. I feel like that's what's going on, is if you are really embracing your intuition and embracing how sensitive you are to a certain, idea you have or a certain way of doing things, then you're going to really see this renewal come in with how you approach things. So I know a lot of people say the Six of Cups is like a renewal with a relationship, but for a lot of Capricorns, I think it's going to be a renewal in your faith about accomplishing something. Like because things have been messy, maybe you've started to feel like maybe this isn't the right path, or because you're just seeing everybody else around you react to the chaos of the world and you're like, I need to be a leader, I need to be disciplined and show them how to do this. But then you're like, how do you do that with this kind of energy? Like it's so messy. It feels like you're going to get a renewed sense of faith in your ability to do this when you really step into just how intuitive you are. You're really, really intuitive, but you got to allow it. You got to be open to it. You got to start trusting it more. And that means right now. Did anything else come up for you with that, Chris?
Yeah, I'm switching cameras here because we have these butterflies right here on the Knight of Swords.
I love it.
And I said Virgo, and I'm always talking to Virgo about caterpillar soup. When the caterpillar turns into the soup inside its chrysalis. So, yeah, major confirmation for you there, Capricorn, even though you're not a Virgo. And yeah, I think the Knight of Swords can feel a little bit rushed. I mean, maybe that's true for Capricorn. And, I don't know. I have like a crap ton of Capricorn in my chart. And I do like, I kind of do feel that sense of urgency right now, even. I feel like a little bit of a sense of urgency. I also think that it depends on when you're born. Like if you're like a late 80s, Capricorn, Neptune, is like squaring everything. And when you were born, because you would have, Neptune, Uranus there at least, right? If not Mars also, if you were like born in the late 80s. And, so it's like that pressure right there, and, it dissolves things as well. I think about that for, what is it? Neptune opposing Uranus, right? Is like dissolving, what you think you need in your life. So maybe that's what it is for Capricorn. Even if you weren't born in the 80s, it's popping into my head. So I think that, it could be a little bit of that. Like sometimes I think we need something that we don't, right? And I want to say the moon, right? The moon, when you're outside on a full moon, you see the shadows, right? So it's casting all these illusions. But, I think I've said this to Capricorn as well. You can't just say that, that you can't like not start something and think that it's going to go a certain way because of the illusions, right? You actually have to go through the process to find out.
Right. Yeah. Learning as you go versus having somebody tell you. We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
Some of the Capricorns have commented, but it's like, having the manual on how to do it. It's like literally throwing the manual out the door sometimes and having to just try it, or just not having the manual, but trying it anyways. Right.
Yeah.
We've gotten some funny comments from Caps about that. Like, I never use the manual. It's like, well, good for you. You're ahead of the times then.
Yep.
All right. Aquas, Aquarius. What do we have for this time next year?
Aquarius, you have good cards. You have the Ace of Pentacles, the Four of Swords, and the Nine of Pentacles. Could be healing your finances or improving your finances with these two cards. So I do think it is a good time for you to kind of like focus on that anyway. And, focusing on something that could grow with these cards. Four of Swords is blessings. There's like a person being blessed up here, and she is heaven on earth. And, so the Nine of Pentacles is about, it doesn't say you're going to have heaven on earth. It's about like creating heaven on earth for yourself. And, but you really have to take like a cold, hard look at your environment, everything around you, the people you surround yourself with, the thoughts in your head, the literal stuff that is around you. And I think that would be a good thing for Aquarius to work on, is like literally everything that is surrounding you and getting it more in alignment with heaven on earth. Even if you don't have it yet, right? Getting as close as you can get.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'm getting the Magician card for the Aquarius, also the Temperance card, and the Knight of Air. So yeah, I definitely feel like, and I often do think of the Aquas in my life when I see the Magician card, because a lot of times you don't even realize your ability to transform something. It's like you do it kind of subconsciously sometimes. It's like you come in, you make the change, you leave, and everyone's like, what happened? And you didn't even like stay for the applause sometimes, I feel like, but then too, like you were saying, changes in their finances and things like that. I do think it's going to require a little patience, a little staying in there a little longer. Like I said, hanging around a little longer at the networking party there where you're meeting people, hanging in there a little longer on that conference call when you're so done, you're so out of there, right? Because I have this Knight of Air card here too. And, I do feel like as long as you continue to embrace your natural born intellect, your natural born ability to transform things, to educate and to bring people together, people will see, how determined you are to change people's minds. Because that's another thing that I feel like a lot of the Aquas here listening for sure are here to help with this transformation of the way people look at things, with the things that Uranus and Gemini are bringing forward. I feel like we're going to be looking to Aquarius, to the Aquarians, saying, what do I do with this? Because I feel like you've already kind of been there in your mind a lot. Like, it's like you guys are the ones that have already seen a lot of this futuristic stuff in your third eye, or you've brought it through with writing or just communication. And we're kind of like, okay, well, that's like 100 years from now, right, Aquas? And you're like, no, this is now. This is now. And I feel like you may have to just be patient about people getting on board, kind of like we said with the Scorpios, but also, be willing to hang in there a little longer. Like, we joke about like my Aqua friends that are like, I gotta bounce, right? It's like, no, don't bounce yet. Wait for the rest of us to get on the ship with you. Anything else?
No, Aquarius doesn't tell you they're going to bounce. They
That's
just disappear,
true.
right?
That's true.
Yeah. So I always think of Aquarius as the magician, by the way. So yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. And, the magician is reinvention. So, I do think it's a good time. Like, you literally have the choice to be the person you want to be in the world. So you could be making those changes with the Nine of Pentacles. I'd like, the other thing that pops into my head here is being careful with your energy. She has 3 pentacles here, 6 over here. So she's only ever giving like 3 pentacles to anything. And that doesn't have to be money. That could just be your energy, your time, your effort. And she always keeps like more than enough for herself. So I would like balance out your energy.
All right. Yeah. Excited to see what you guys do next year, Aquas. All right. So We'll get to the bonus messages in a minute, but I put on Sagittarius there.
Close.
Close. All right, we're about to get to your bonus messages and action to take, but first we have to talk about Pisces for this time next year. What are you getting for the Pisces?
Pisces, you have the Page of Swords, Two of Swords, and the Page of Pentacles. I think for Pisces, things are not going to go how you think, is what this is saying. So the Two of Swords, she thinks like this or that, but really it's going to go somewhere over here behind her, and whatever she's thinking about doing. It's like, but what I think this should be doing for you, Pisces, is that it should tell you that you should spend less time thinking with that Page of Swords, because it's like, if you're thinking about starting something, doing something, going on a date, starting a business, doing anything in your life, fixing your health, it's like, you might as well just get started, because you're not even going to be close when it comes to like how the outcome is going to be. Page of Pentacles is studiousness. It is learning. You are learning on the journey. You're not, and maybe that's also that pops into my head too for Pisces, is enjoying the journey. I don't think Pisces has enjoyed the journey for a long time. So probably because you haven't been able to. It's like you want to be a fish, but you can't be. Like that's how it's been since maybe 2008. It's like now you're finally being able to be a fish again, but maybe you have to get used to it, right?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And right when you were talking about the Two of Swords and there being like an option that you haven't considered, a ladybug just landed on my window and curled up. So if that means anything to you guys, definitely being able to step into your creative, you're so creative, you're so intuitive, Pisces. So I definitely feel that coming in for you with ladybugs, but maybe it has a specific meaning to each of you out there. Because I definitely do feel this opportunity to finally be able to do things the way you want to. Now, I do first have this Four of Water card for you, okay? So we talk about that maybe being boredom, missing opportunities, and it's like, there are things you want to be doing, but you're feeling held back by something. We have the Ten of Pentacles card here, which I really like this card for the Ten of Pentacles. And then the Magician, you got the Magician just like Aquarius did. So it's kind of like, really focusing on what changes can you do between now and then so that you do have these opportunities to move forward? Because I am feeling for some of you, that restraint has actually been material resources. Like maybe you've been constricted through financial obligations, or you've been waiting around to get that job promotion, you haven't gotten it yet, or there's just been family obligations or other things that have kind of held you back from really going where you want to go. And this is your chance now, Pisces, is what it feels like, to really transform that. I feel like if you start right now at the time you're hearing these messages, by this time next year, you're going to have a lot more financial freedom, and not, this isn't just money. This is also time and energy to do the things you want to do. So like you said, Chris, having more time to do the things you enjoy instead of just being stuck in the day-to-day mundane, being able to finally be able to embrace that side of you that just wants to be able to swim like the fish you are and go to the places you want to go without these constraints. So it's almost like I also think some of the things you see as a burden now won't feel like a burden a year from now if you take action on moving in that direction. Does that resonate with you, Chris, as a Pisces yourself?
So many things.
Okay.
So many things. I think, what I think about too is Pluto in your 11th for a long ass time, but the ladybug, luck, right? It's like 11th house, it is luck where Pisces needs to believe that they can be lucky, and also missed opportunities. I think that you have missed a lot of opportunities in your past where you didn't trust yourself intuitively. I think I've said this to Pisces before, like over these coming years, I think there will be a lot of opportunities that are like, again, don't think already that it's like a good opportunity. You missed these opportunities in the past. Are they the same? No, they're probably different, but what it looks like when something is an opportunity. And so I think this is saying like, just take advantage of those opportunities, those lucky moments, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I think a lot of those lucky moments may come through in things like a ladybug, or like things that we've seen lately. We know we have foxes that live behind us, but the last 2 nights, this fox, it comes out and looks at us at the same time every night. It knows we're out there. So it's almost like it's intentionally engaging with us. Those are the kinds of moments where I think we're being asked, all of us, but especially Pisces, because you're so intuitive, really, really step into your ability to interpret those things. And that's where you're going to see the opportunities. right?
Yeah, I say it to Pisces like every week now. The other night I was driving home from a class late at night, and it was late, and so but before I left, like everybody wanted to talk, and I was like, I was being a typical Pisces. I was like, I just gonna go home. I'm tired. I don't want to stay around and talk, but I stuck around and talked. And on my way home, I pulled up to must have just happened an accident, like this multi-car accident on the road. As I was pulling up, and the cops were literally pulling up at the same time, so it like just happened. I'm like, if I didn't stick around, like would I have been part of this like 4-car accident that happened here in this intersection, So it's like, I think Pisces needs to like pay attention to the signs,
Yeah, absolutely. And that's also going to bring in those opportunities to break free, I think, of that constriction you've been feeling, and just be more in the flow, like you like to be, like we all like to be in the flow. I love that for the Pisces. All right. So just one more quick reminder. Make sure if you haven't already, go give Chris Reck a follow on his Chris Reck channel, as well as, of course, Minopon Tarot, which you've got to already be subscribed there. Come on, guys. And then chrisreck.com has all the great resources. And, Chris, this is so much fun to do these readings with you and compare notes and compare year over year now, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So thanks for doing that.
Of course. Thank you.
Well, what do you think? Should we do some actions to take, or just do a collective reading for this time next year?
Or both.
Let's do both.
Let's do both. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
This time next year for the collective? Go ahead.
For the collective, yeah. We have the Sun, the High Priestess, and the Page of Cups. Pretty good. I think next year could be a much better feeling year, although I'm not sure. But, I still think maybe there's like a lot of good reasons to be focused on good things. So I think people should. Definitely a good year for attention. We talked about that today. A good year for trusting your intuition with the High Priestess. Although I think, High Priestess, I think over these next few years at least, is more about peeking behind the curtain. I think it's a bad time to dabble for people. Like if you're just kind of like dipping your toes in the water, trying something. It's not that we shouldn't try things, but I think we should just, we have to like make it a little bit deeper of a commitment on the things that we're working on. So again, it's like surface level versus going like one step deeper. And, I think that's where the secret sauce is for people. So that could be an action that people could take. And anything you're interested in, anything you want to do, like give it that one extra chance where you go one step deeper. Could be a good year for love, sure. Page of Cups. And but Page of Cups is very dreamy. I would like encourage people to take action on this now. I really think that Neptune, like what a blessing is it that we have Neptune and Saturn together in Pisces? Like how crazy is it that we get to live in a time where they both just so happen to be retrograde, having moved into Aries at the same time, retrograded basically at the same time, within a month of each other. Next year, within a month of each other, they move back into Aries. It's like crazy that we get this opportunity. And, I tell everybody to work on like the big impossible dream, pick something that you think is impossible and try to do it, because I don't know. I think that energy really could make it happen for people.
Yeah, that resonates so much because I got 2 Ace of Wands here. Ace of Fire.
Wow.
And the Ace of Wands. I'm using 3 different decks here. And then finally I have the 10 of Air card. And it feels like the 10 of Air is like, just kind of like we were talking about with the Pisces, about things that felt like you haven't been able to do the things you want to do are going away. I always hear you talk about the 10 of Swords as dead, done, and over, right? It's like there's no coming back from this. Like, so just let that be the past that it is, and take advantage of these opportunities to get something started. And that is definitely what I'm getting to, Chris, that it's like, it's not about dabbling. It's about fully immersing yourself in the things that light you up, the things that get you out of bed in the morning. And I feel like having 2 Ace of Wands is like, you couldn't say it better, right? It's like, if you're ambivalent about something, I was just listening to a podcast the other day. I'm blanking on his name, but it's called On Purpose. Jay Shetty, yes. Yeah. He had a person on that was talking about how we tend to get into these relationships that we're kind of ambivalent about. And like, there's no room for ambivalence anymore. Like we kind of need to be asking ourselves before we take on any commitment or project or anything that it is that you want to do, how much of myself do I want to put in this? And if you're kind of ambivalent about the attention and focus you're willing to give it, maybe it's not the right thing. Because I also feel like you said, with Pluto and Aquarius and all these different shifts we're going through, it's like everybody's being rewarded for their autonomy, but also if it's of service. So it's like, this weird relationship between doing it your way, but also for the collective is where a lot of these opportunities are coming in. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. I also think a Neptune and Pisces, if we're not inspired, to do something, it's like the same thing. It's like if there isn't real inspiration there, it's just going to dissolve with Neptune and Pisces. So, I think that, and I wish I had more time to think about that, about the ambivalence thing, because I think that's very true. I think we have to have like a real reason to, do the things that we are doing, or even in relationships or whatever. Like there has to be like real desire there, not just kind of.
Yeah.
And so that makes total sense to me.
Yeah, and the reason can be because you just love it. Like it's I don't think it has to be a practical reason, like, oh, it makes me money, or oh, it keeps my house clean, or oh, it's makes me look good to my partner, or whatever.
Yeah.
It's more of a like it's like it can be just I do it because I love it, which almost has to be like a requirement away. But I wanted to know if you got a little more clarity around the Ten of Swords. It feels to me like once you recognize the things that you're ambivalent about, it's going to be a lot easier to see like what you're so over. Is that, are you getting that?
Well, so what I think it is that, this is the year of the snake, right? So we're finishing and shedding our skin at the end of the year here. But I think it's about like people needing to, sorry, I have something in my eye, by the way, but I've been trying to get it, but I'm good. So I think it's about people needing to like really, really, really go deep and think about what they, want out of life, and getting very clear, like extremely clear on that. And, again, I'm just going to babble here because I haven't really spent a lot of time thinking about this, but it's like, how people, they like try to manifest something like money. But it's like there are like certain things that go into that really could actually help them manifest that money. It's about like finding those connecting pieces, or it's like about getting into like the true alignment with something. It's like to manifest money, you also have to like take care of your money blocks. You have to have good money habits. You also have to do things that people with money do. It's like about adding all those things up. It's like that's where I think we're at. If you're thinking, oh, I want love just because I don't want to be alone, probably not going to work. But if you want love because you love yourself and all these other things, then you'll have it.
Yeah, that makes so much sense to me as well. And do you know off the top of your head what we go into? We're in the year of the snake in 2025. Do you know?
Oh,
I haven't looked at it yet.
I'm not sure. It might be the rabbit.
Okay. I know there's like an order, but I'm not as good up to date on that. But it definitely has been a year of transformation that I've seen with the snake year this year.
So it's actually the fire horse. It is this year. Mean? So the fire horse is a symbol for freedom, adventure, and passion. We talked about all those things. It says, let's see. Yeah, so that's basically all it said. Freedom. What did I say? Freedom, adventure, and passion. Associated with heightened energy, independence, passion due to combination of the horse's traits. Yeah. Bold changes. Yes. Are you kidding me? There be bold changes. Also says dynamic energy, which is interesting as well with Uranus and Gemini. I think of like being, I always say Uranus and Gemini is like idea sex, two ideas together that mix together that could make you more successful. And I think that would be a good thing for people to work on.
Yeah, I completely agree. And like you said, with it, we're ending a year, a 9 year, right?
Yeah.
This year. Moving, so that means we're starting a whole cycle over, step one. And, if you just want to have something else to study and get excited about, go look at your own personal year as far as, okay, when was the last time I went through a 9 year into a 1 year and what changed for me? Because I've actually done that with my.
That's a good one.
Yeah, my accounting background, I just went in Excel and typed it out, like from birth to now, what year was I in, and you would better believe every time I went from a 9 to a 1, there was a big year. And so when you think of it collectively, since this is what we're doing here, and then adding that fire horse energy after the snake energy, the transformation, it's like it's all being laid out for you. It's just about putting the energy into it and taking that chance there. So, I think it's going to be really fascinating to see where we are collectively next year. Did you have anything else to add to that?
No, I mean, hopefully the robots don't take over. That's my only concern right now is like getting smoked by AI. But and it'll be fast.
That's why we're all here practicing our intuition. I'm telling you, I know they're only going to get better, but we can get better on deciphering them as well. We can grow with them and say, I see you for who you are. I was on a call the other day. They even had like, it was an AI person on the phone with me, or bot on the phone with me, but they even had like the noise in the background as though they were like in a crowded room, and and they even used lingo like, oh yeah, I know what you mean. And I'm like, but you still sound like a robot. I know you're a bot.
You still say,
so just give yourself credit when you recognize it, and check in with that intuition. So I think we're gonna prevail by tapping into our intuition and sticking together.
I hope so.
Yeah. Well, Chris, this is so much fun. Did you have any final words? I think that was kind of what you were saying. That was it. I think that's a powerful way to lead this. Well, I can't wait to see what we know about whatever else is happening out there in these dimensions, 3i Atlas, whatever it is. So let us know in the comments any predictions you have. Let us know what you want our topic to be next time. As always, it's a blast to be here with you, Chris, and it's great to be in this community with all of you. So thanks again for being here.
Thank you.
All right. We'll see you guys.